Hey, what's up, everybody? Today, we're talking about the hot topic of the day, of the week, probably. Coaching changes. This is serious? Cat mode time, baby. All right, so this is what everybody's talking about right now. The Cowboys, the season is over. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. We talked about this in the post game, that this would be one of the hot topics. We'll talk about the other one here at another occasion. I'm working on that video as well. But for right now, let's address the coaching changes, or lack thereof. There will not be any coaching changes as far as the head coach goes. Jerry Jones has given his endorsement of Jason Garrett. Take a look at this.
Jerry, why is Jason Garrett the best coach to lead this team to where you want them to be?
Well, first of all, let's do this. Let's basically not get into all the reasons why, and I won't get into all the reasons why not. Let's just say that it's not in the best interest of the Cowboys right now to be considering a head coaching change.
Jerry, a lot of fans are frustrated and feel there should be a coaching change. Why is Jason the right guy?
Well, just so we're clear about it, I do understand frustration right after you lose a game that has as much meaningfulness as this ball game. But I get to look at a lot of different things and have been around a lot of head coaches and coordinators, and so I feel good about our head coach.
All right, so there it is from the man himself. So Jason Garrett will not be fired. Everybody wants him fired. Eventually, if the Cowboys keep on this path of mediocrity and just, failing in the big moments, there has to be something to change, But Jerry Jones knows he has this guy here. He's groomed him. He sees him as his own special project. Garrett was a QB coach in Miami, and then, became the offensive coordinator before Wade Phillips was hired. So that was already pre-compromised. I mean, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot for Garrett to get fired, because this is a Jerry Jones special. He picked this guy himself, implanted him, from what, 2007 or whatever it is now. I mean, he's been with the team for a very long time. He's been a head coach here for a while as well. He did sign the extension in 2015, a 5-year deal. So, that runs through 2020. All right, so we're stuck with what we have now. For me, I knew. I knew. I've been covering this team for a very long time, since 2003, and I've been watching them forever, for decades already. So, I mean, sometimes a team, an owner, and I know Jerry, he wasn't going to fire him. He just wasn't. So for me, at the end of the game, with all the crazy stuff that happened, for me, Scott Linehan, this guy has to go. All right, if they're going to make any changes, he has to go. All right, he signed through 2019. So, I mean, just the performance here, he's not going to elevate Dak Prescott's game. You need an offensive coordinator that will elevate the player and improve the player. Scott Linehan is not that kind of offensive coordinator. I've been beating the drum for Norv Turner to be the offensive coordinator. He's visited the Cowboys, here recently in the training camp. So he still has a connection with Jerry, has a connection with Garrett as well. Bring him in here. He is. I guarantee you, Norv Turner would not make that boneheaded decision there at the 2 or 3 yard line. To shotgun RPO crap. All right. When he had Emmett, shoved him down the throat. It was run. I mean, that's what we did. It was the Emmett show, the offensive line, and then you had the weapons on the outside. But it was Emmitt Smith, man. It was Emmitt Smith in the offensive line that set the tone. Scott Linehan is not utilizing this offensive line. He's not utilizing Ezekiel Elliott, the biggest weapon that we have on offense. He is. All right. There's not a bigger weapon on the team probably than Ezekiel Elliott right now. He is the man. So Get somebody in here that knows how to utilize the talents of these guys, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and these kinds of guys. Now, where else could they make a move? Wide receiver coach, Derek Dooley, I think his contract is, I think he's one of the ones that are expiring. So with Derek Dooley, you know, this was another guy that Garrett had a connection with him there with the Dolphins, with Saban and Scott Linehan. These guys have a connection that dates back to their Miami Dolphins year with Saban. So this, to me, this just did not work. You know, the wide receivers, they're not improving. Not getting anything out of Dez anymore. That they've all flatlined. They've all peaked, and they're not being utilized for what they have remaining in the tank. You know, wasting talent. This team, it just loves wasting talent, man. It's a shame, but you know, I think that would be something to look into. You know, change offensive coordinator. I'll be disappointed, man. I'll be seriously disappointed if Scott Linehan comes back. I won't have any faith in it, man. I'll stay positive as possible, but that'll be in the back of my mind, you know. Scott Linehan, these silly, stupid mistakes, and the jet sweep stuff, man. Those plays were straight garbage. Never worked. Never worked. All right. He just his playbook sucks, man. And I don't know if it's a year 2 thing that he doesn't trust Dak or what it is, but they gotta get better on offense, you know. And you know, from what we had in 2016 to 2017, it's just amazing how much that this offense struggled from the very get-go. They did, you know, from the start. This team struggled. They didn't look the same. Zeke was a slow start, and it took them a while to get going. So we got to get the coaches that can light a fire under these guys. All right. So, and you know, some of that may come from the head coach, and that's what we're stuck with. We're stuck with Garrett, all right? But the assistants, you know, wide receiver coach, offensive coordinator, maybe even quarterback coach, you know, maybe even quarterback coach. You know, it could be said that Romo or Sanchez were the quarterback coach for Prescott, and Linehan didn't really do anything, because as soon as these guys walked out the door, you're stuck with Linehan, and I think that really exposed Linehan's ability or inability to elevate the play of Dak Prescott. So that's big. All right, that's big. We cannot have another season of this with Scott Linehan and Dak Prescott. These kind of plays. All right, but other areas that might get looked at. I think the DB coaches. I think there's some. I think one of those guys might be on an extension. I think one of their contracts might be expiring. But Derek Dooley, one of them. I think you probably have to move on from him. Move on from him and start revamping the wide receiver core, okay? Because they're all old. They're all in the 20. They're all going to be 29 by the time the season starts, all right? And Dez will be 30 during the season. You know, I think his birthday is in November or something like that. So you're dealing with guys on the back end of their career here, receivers. Start adding pieces. You know, you're gonna have to keep a couple of these guys, but some of these guys are probably gonna move on here. All right, and get guys that Dak is comfortable with. That's what they gotta do. They gotta tailor this offense around Dak. I mean, if you're crowning him as the franchise quarterback, and you know I still think he is. You know, I really do. I mean, there's some silly talk out there. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff out there from people. It's just nonsense. Dak is the franchise right now, but you gotta give him the weapons that he's comfortable with. You gotta tailor the offense around him. All right. So, I mean, if it's smaller, shorter, faster receivers, get him those guys. If it's a deep threat guy who's not quite big, like a 6'2" guy, like a Dez, go get you an AB or Odell Beckham kind of player. You know, get players that can be tailored around Dak Prescott. But that's it for right now, guys. Let me know what you guys think about you know, the lack of coaching changes, or where do you think they need to make a coaching change? Because we already know it's not going to be Jason Garrett. It's probably not going to be Rod Marinelli. I think Rod Marinelli, I think, has done a great job with what we have, and he's getting better now that he has the tools. So I'm excited about Marinelli, but the other guys, I think it's You know, it's open season on those other guys. But let me know where you would like to improve, any guys that you would like to bring in here. And as usual, guys, continue to like, subscribe, and comment. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. We're going to continue to churn these out. We're going to ramp up the draft talk. You know, I'll have another prospect here that I'll talk about here this week. A player that you guys will probably like here. I have a good one in the can. But that's it, guys. I'll see you for the next video. Thanks, guys.